we go. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another episode of enLIGHTen with Div and Deb. And so today we are speaking about emotions. Deb was just sharing with me she's had some challenging emotions come up this week. You want to talk about that?
Yes. I first want to apologise to the viewers that I see on screen. I look quite fine and dandy, and I've got my beautiful background there, and my face is smiling. My face is smiling because I see the very gorgeous Divya, and I just smiled automatically. It's not how I'm feeling, though. I'm feeling crap. I feel like shit. And as I say it, I feel that sensation of the tears just behind the veil. And I feel them again now as I say it. Now, I find this a very interesting process. I've been sharing with Div for almost 10 days now, I think, inside my head, inside my meditations. Just talk each experience as I have it. And I noticed that back, I think it was a week ago, Thursday last week, the meditation, I recall hearing a little question or observation about, oh, I feel quite sad, I feel quite tired. And that's interesting that I hadn't felt that until I came into the meditation. Oh, and do you recall this now? Like, it didn't stand out in my experiences. There was this slight feeling of tired, and now I started yawning, and I'm going, why am I yawning? This is really odd. It's 10:30 in the day, right? And as I think back, I realize my system was telling me, you need to rest. And it starts as a little whisper, right? Might there have been, Divya, you help me recall, might there have been a little bit of sad, or was it just tired?
Tired, but the tone was heavy.
Okay. And then as it's come to this week, Monday, Tuesday, more so yesterday, it was quite overt that the tired was, Monday, I realised I was very tired. No cognitive content, a little bit of sad. And then as I sat in meditation, it was quite clear. Nothing else was going to be on the agenda but this. And there was not a resisting of acknowledging what was there. It's just, it is there. How do we need to respond to this? And then this morning, I had a business meeting with a networking group, and I think people would have experienced me as a bit annoyed or pissed off. I was quite firm. I was like, hang on, guys, we have agreed to do certain things, and it's not, we've all got a little part to play, and just do your part, right? And afterwards I had a conversation saying, oh, was it clear that I was pissed off? And the person said, yes, I think some will be having stories going, I think I've got my wrist slapped, I've just been told off, or whatever, like in a bad way or a negative way. So I had a couple of conversations about this. Sometimes we don't move unless we get that kind of a stir.
Yeah.
Unless we are uncomfortable or we are made to feel uncomfortable while things are quite nice, because some were saying, no, keep it all nice, keep it all positive. People will be upset if if they feel that there is, you know, somebody's not happy. And then I was just listening to this TED Talk, which actually has this title, Why Good Emotions Are Bad. And it
Why good or bad emotions
why
are good.
bad emotions are good. And you and I both know that emotions are neither in this category of good or bad.
Neither positive nor negative. They just
That's
are.
right. And so this person that I was saying, was it clear that I was pissed off? And they're like, oh, come on, we need to keep it all nice. We don't want people feeling uncomfortable. And I said, well, you know, this is how I'm feeling. I am feeling down, sad, depleted, and I am shitty. It is, and it's truth. And I recognize my system is processing something and needs to focus on it. I've organized that. You and I know, so the listeners know. I've heard the signal loud and clear yesterday. I've organized to have 4 days to sit and be with it and process it. And this person replied to me and said, and I said, I'm sorry if that's shocking, because people experience me as this positive, encouraging, supportive, resourceful, energized, and it can shake your idea off me if you go, oh, Deborah's having a little meltdown.
She's human.
Yes. And she said, actually, no. In the past, I might have. Now, I can just be with you however you are and let you know I'm here for you if you want, which is really lovely. And she said, I'm not sure what that means, that I can be okay, that you're actually not okay at the moment. And I said, it means you understand that emotions bring us richness in life, and they're neither good nor bad, and that we can have the ones that are, let's say, pleasurable, and the ones that are unpleasurable, and it means nothing other than that is, you know, a day or an experience or what have you. So that was really lovely. And then I found this awesome TED Talk with that title. And the speaker, I can find the name if you like, the speaker, who's the head of a school of psychiatry, was saying how it is very, very distorted and disabling how we pathologize what we consider negative emotions and call them negative emotions because they're not unpleasant, because they're not pleasant. Pathologize, for our listeners, what that means is that we think of it as I am depressed, I have depression, like it's something is going wrong, that I have an unpleasant emotion. And she spoke about how these emotions aid us, that we are not well-rounded or even able to have a well-rounded consideration of a context if it's only with the emotions that are pleasant, that we like. An up mood will allow us to be creative and brainstorm in a certain way. Without the negative emotions, we can't do the contingency thinking and the critical thinking, and it creates a very unbalanced way of responding. So she spoke about we can have short-term strategies and long-term strategies in responding to what we might call uncomfortable or unpleasant emotions. What short-term ones that aren't good is overeating, oversleeping, procrastinating, because they compound whatever problem. They're avoiding ones, and what that creates then is amplification of the experience, and that actually is negative in that it creates unwanted results. But when we recognize the emotion and we support ourselves with getting adequate sleep, reaching out to share with someone, perhaps getting some other thoughts on the ideas, which we have been doing, and then the longer term responses. And really the litmus test for is this a good long-term strategy is it active? Am I actually doing something? And I can't remember the other thing. Yes, but basically, does it have action in it? You know, so the short-term strategies that are not so helpful are avoiding, and there's lack of action.
Right.
So yeah, I just found that really lovely frame to say how we actually can't be well-rounded, and it is very unhelpful thing that we have a culture that labels emotions even in negative and positive, rather than emotions are what we sign on for if we're going to have a fulfilling and meaningful life.
It's just part of being human, part and parcel of being human. So two things come to me. One is let our listeners know, our viewers know, how long does an emotion actually last for when we give the space to process it? How long do emotions last for?
Scientifically, we know that an emotion will last, if it's not tampered with and it's just allowed to be, will last a maximum of 90 seconds. Just like an electrical spark, or it has a life. It can't go on unless something is adding to or feeding to it. The same with emotions. And actually, one of the emotions I've had is sad. I had a dear friend pass away 2 weeks ago, less than 2 weeks, just very recently. And I know I have not had the space to process that.
Agreed. Yeah.
And when I verbalize it like I am now, the emotion comes up. And as I have gone, oh, that's why I'm sad. And then it's just gone. Of course, I think again and the sad comes. And then it goes, it's amazing because when it comes up, it feels so full, like it is so much that it would take a long time to dissipate, and it doesn't. 90 seconds when you don't fiddle with it.
Just give it this way. Yeah. So what are some of these actions to allow ourselves to experience emotion? Just know that that's what we signed up for. So that's, you know, to recap for our viewers and listeners, that all emotion is of value. All of it is equally rich, rewarding aspects of being human, all of it. And it's only our very odd preference-based thinking that well, you know, and if you watch yesterday's episode of Enlighten Up, the childlike thinking, the immaturity of I like this and I don't like this, that will say it's better to be happy than it is to be sad. That's a very immature way of viewing emotions. So the maturity would have us really respect and honor whatever is there, and turn up with, well, if I feel depleted and down today, then I'm just going to honor that. There's no need to pretend like anything else is there. And sometimes even just knowing because with emotions, there's an emotional contagion that happens when we're around other people. And so Deb's come into the space in her emotional experience, and there is emotional contagion that happens between all people, you know. She sees my smile, a smile will come on her face. If she's tuned into me with some attention and intention, it's going to happen because her mirror neurons are switched on to mine. She's going to feel what I feel, which is I'm in delight at this moment. I'm in delight at this moment. And
perhaps,
equally,
you know,
earlier this morning, though, I too was crying, honoring the emotions that came up, just releasing what was there to be released. Yeah.
I highly recommend this TED Talk, and in our Facebook group, Reality Reinventors, I will post it there. It is just so rich, so lovely. I was just thinking then, when I am smiling and I do look bright. I don't mean to, I'm not trying to. I want to honor what is here, and I kind of under the surface is still that here. And when you say about emotional contagion, and of course I am happy and uplifted, but what needs to be processed here underneath isn't being processed. And I understand why that is. There is wisdom in retiring away to not be affected by others. I mean, it's very tempting to, I know, to want to just feel good, and for each of us to see someone sad and want to move them away from that, rather than there being the space to kind of process that and get the learning and wisdom. My unconscious has some important change for me and adjustment for me to make, as well as the sad to process. So I see the wisdom, and that word depression, you and I have unpacked that, and I'd love to share that with the listeners just now again, about when we think about what is the word press and something being depressed. So we have these states where we feel kind of drawn and pushed out to go out into the world and do things, and then that feeling of being depressed, that some emotions actually do feel like we're being deep pushed down. And how, you know, when we depress the brake, the pedal, we depress it to brake the car. We do that for a good reason. And when we just recognize that all of the emotions are there to serve us, and if we're being called to come back in and to be with self and not to be out and engaging, then we have that space to be with whatever our self is calling us to. And I think if we don't allow ourselves to have that, an analogy of food is ice cream may very well taste very, very nice, and we may really enjoy eating ice cream. And if that is all that we ever eat, and an analogy to happy, positive emotions, then we get sick. We will get sick if we only eat ice cream. If we only have sweet things and none of the bitter things. In some cultures, they call certain vegetables bitter greens, and they schedule them into the diet for a reason. And so these emotions may feel bitter and not so sweet, but if we only have a diet of sweet, we know that we are going to make ourselves very sick. So another analogy for understanding that the so-called bad or bitter or unpleasant emotions are vital for us, vital and good for us.
vital and as you said, important for you to be able to retire into solitude and to really feel what's yours to feel. You know, we can't do that when we're so busy in the external world. This is why quiet contemplation is important. Meditation is important. That time with self is so, so important. You know, my tears came this morning in meditation as well. You know, that space that me be with what's here, and then we respond from that space. If we're so externally focused on doing, we miss the memos. We miss the memos. So a truly fulfilling life, you know, not only does it honor the full spectrum of emotion, and it also, in order to do that, there has to be some space for quietness as well. The depression is important, you know, when we're braking the car, we need that. We need that. So, yeah. Anything more you want to say or add or share, or anything before we wrap up today's episode?
I did just want to, it's a moment of gratitude to feel so blessed that I could have a business partner that I just share. This is what has come up in meditation, as well as what is current in my experience, and got on the phone to you, messaged you and said, we need to have a talk about how that might impact our work and our workflow. Not everybody has a wise business partner who would say all will go well and even better if we honor those signals. So I am so very grateful to have such a wise, cheery, and beautiful business partner. And that didn't come easy to me without some, I just want to share for honesty's sake, that there was guilt, like that's not fair when she's working so hard and I'm going, I'm gonna just go have a nice time for 4 days, just like that, regardless of what's on the agenda. And I also had, just for honesty and transparency, I also had the thought like, oh yeah, that's a pretty cool gig you got going on there. You know, if you want to kind of just have some luxurious time, you'll just sit down and go, oh, this has come up in a meditation for me, so I best go do this thing. And a kind of self-doubt like, oh, is this a con? Is this just a con so that you can get out of work? So I am serious about what I have shared here about how we need to honor these things, and also how some part of our system still has these programs of judgment and self-doubt and all of this that might come to mean that we really have to be honest and courageous to honor it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank you for modeling that. Yeah, because it is so very true. We can't get anywhere if we don't on an empty tank. It's not possible. You can't drive anywhere on an empty tank, and when the signals come saying, I got it, like the fuel light has come on, it would be insane for me to say, never mind, keep driving. Like, never mind, got places to go. Like, no, stop, refuel, and get here when you get lost. That is, think about that, right? Like, we do that with our cars. Why not with our bodies when we feel the tired and the heavy and the whatever? It is an act of courage for you to say, yeah, I need to honor that I need space right now. And yeah, I celebrate you for that. I think that that's just the most amazing gift.
I hope you're all seeing how the gorgeousness that I'm seeing here and how blessed I am, how blessed we both are that we're both committed to working in a really honest and authentic way on a day-to-day practical basis. So thank you all, and I'll be back on Tuesday.
Okay, all right. All right, well, tomorrow's Friday, so no episode then, but I'll be with Diana on Monday for an episode, and that'll be sure to be an amusing one. So bye for now. Have a brilliant rest of your day and weekend, and connect next time.
Bye.